Hey, what's going on? It's Mando Crusader, and welcome to another deck testing video. So the last video I did like this that was on Is It Delver, my first draft of an Is It Delver deck. You guys seem to like that one, so I decided to do another one, this time with a Golgari deck that I've been trying to formulate for a while now. Golgari is a color combination I have a soft spot for. I've especially been wanting to do something like this ever since Historic Anthology 5 gave us cards like Grizzly Salvage and of course the Praetors. I was always thinking of something like sort of Reanimator-ish. Of course, now that Historic Horizons is here, Mardu is the preferred color combination for Reanimator. But now that we have Priest of the Fellrites, so that plan's kind of gone. However, Innistrad Midnight Hunt gave us this little card right here. Deathbonnet Sprout / Deathbonnet Hulk. It's a really cool little one-drop. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. The front side of this, for 1 green, it's a 1/1. But at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform Deathbonnet Sprout into Deathbonnet Hulk, which is a 3/3. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile a card from a graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, put a 1/1 counter on Deathbonnet Hulk. So, that got me inspired re-inspired to try to build a simple Graveyard Matters deck. In Golgari colors, while not completely giving up on the whole reanimation shtick, try to make it a little bit more mid-rangey, a little bit more just solid in general, and this is what I've come up with. So if you're interested in the deck tech, stick around. If not, if I did my job, there should be a timestamp on the screen right around now, that tells you where to go get to the actual games. Just like the Is It Delver video, we're going to be testing this in the play queue, with this absolute abomination of a mana base. This isn't going anywhere near the ranked ladder. But play queue testing should be fine. It should give us a little bit of an idea of maybe what works, what doesn't. So, let's get into the deck tech here. So, this deck runs 2 1-drops. One is the aforementioned Deathbonnet Sprout. I think this could be, within this deck, this is very easily a 1-mana 3/3 that you can get down on turn 1. So that seems like really, really good value for me. And it can grow, so that seems like even better value to me. Additionally, we got 4 copies of Stitcher's Supplier, pretty much essential in any deck that cares about the graveyard. 1 mana, whenever it enters the battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. It serves as a very nice blocker, because obviously we don't care if it dies. And it's also nice exile fodder for Deathbonnet Hulk. So, yeah, that's great. Moving over to the 2-drop slot, we have 4 copies of Mire Triton. Again, getting more cards in the graveyard. That's what we want. This one is also a extremely effective blocker because it has Death Touch, and you also gain 2 life when it enters the battlefield. So, just a nice general value card, and it can also buy you time, because obviously your opponent doesn't want to slam their big or important creatures into a Death Toucher. Next up, we got Spore Shaman, another card that mills cards for you. Now, this may seem like too many of these effects, especially when we get to things like Grizzly Salvage as well, but you have to remember, obviously in these colors, we don't have cards like Faithless Looting, or Cathartic Reunion, or Thrilling Discovery, so we have to find other ways to get cards into the graveyard, and these are our tools to do that. Spore Shaman enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards, and then we can put a land card from our graveyard on top of our library. So that is always an option if we need more land, which will be relevant later. Next up, our last 2-drop is Grizzly Salvage. This came in Historic Anthology 5, and it's a great card for 1 black and a 1 green. You reveal the top 5 cards of your library. We can put a creature or land card from among them into our hand and put the rest into our graveyard, giving us a little bit of choice what goes into our graveyard. And the ability to grab a creature or a land makes this extra nice. Going into the 3-drop slot, we have 4 Silver Smoke Ghouls. So 2 and a black, you get a 3/1 zombie vampire, with the ability that at the beginning of your end step, if you've gained 3 or more life this turn, return Silver Smoke Ghoul from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And for 1 and a black, we can sack Silver Smoke Ghoul and draw a card. This synergizes extremely well with Creeping Chill, and both just synergize excellent with all of the milling and all of the putting cards into the graveyard. And because this is a nice recursive creature that comes back. Creeping Chill, as we'll get to, is when it goes from the library to the graveyard. It helps you deal damage, it can help you close out the game, and it can bring your Silver Smoke Ghouls back. So all in all, this is just a nice recursive threat that hopefully allows us to win games more. We have 1 copy, just a one-off copy of Random Up Excavator. So for 2 and a green, you get a 2/3 Naga Cleric. Not the worst body in the world, but its ability is even more important. We can play lands from our graveyard. So with all of this milling, we're bound to get a bunch of lands in our graveyard, and this sort of is like a slight safety valve. So if for some reason we're really low on lands, we milled all of our like 3 and 4 land drops that we would have drawn or whatever, this can sort of help us get on track just a little bit and help us get more land onto the battlefield, which again is important for this card here, but we'll get to that in a second. Additionally, we have 2 copies of Agadim's Awakening. In addition to serving as a land if necessary, this helps us recover from board wipes, and it's just a really nice value card. That helps us get our creatures, again, out of the graveyard, back into the battlefield. For our 4 drops, we have 4 copies of Creeping Chill. Hopefully, we're never casting this card. This card exists to go from our library to the graveyard. So, basically, when Creeping Chill, when cast for 3 and a black, deals 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. That's good. But, well, this is actually kind of bad. When you think about it, for 4 mana, you want to be doing a lot more for 4 mana. But, like I said, this isn't here to cast. This is here for the other ability. When Creeping Chill is put into your graveyard from your library, you may exile it. If you do, Creeping Chill deals 3 damage to each opponent, and you gain 3 life. So it basically does its thing for free, which is great. It's excellent. And that 3 life can bring our Silver Smoke Ghouls back. So this is this is a key part of our damage dealing package, and it's a really nice addition to like this sort of idea, because with all of the milling that we're doing, we're bound to be getting it from the graveyard to the library at some point. So that's just extra damage, extra life, keeps us in the game, and helps us kill our opponent. Next up is a card that I really like, but I've never found a place for it. And I'm thinking this may be the deck. Nissa of Shadowed Boughs. Planeswalker, 2 a black and a green, and it starts with 4 loyalty. Additionally, it has a landfall trigger that whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you put a loyalty counter on Nissa of Shadowed Boughs. This means you can get it up to 6 loyalty on turn 1 if you play this before you play your land for the turn. And this is kind of important for the -5, but first let's go over the +1, which basically acts like a diet Nissa Who Shakes the World. Untap target land you control. You may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and menace until end of turn. It's still a land. It's a good ability. It can help us close out a game if necessary. It gives us an extra attacker on the battlefield, right? But that's not the most interesting ability. The most interesting ability is its -5, which, again, you can do on turn 1, the turn you play it, if you play a land. You may put a creature card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield from your hand or graveyard with 2+1/+1 counters on it. This is hopefully what will get our big boys out and onto the battlefield. This is why I'm a bit concerned about putting land from the battlefield onto the graveyard. Because we want to make sure that if the time comes, we either can hard cast one of these cards from our hand, or we can reanimate it with Nissa. That's sort of why Random Up Excavator is here, to make sure that we have that land covered. Speaking of the big boys, I run 4 of them. I run 3 copies of Sheldurod Whispering One, Swamp Walk. Beginning of your upkeep, you can turn a creature card from our graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, they sack a creature, just a really nice card. And a single copy of Massacre Worm, to deal with sort of like the tribal strategies. I think this is the right amount of big creatures we want in our deck. We don't want to be overloading them. We don't want to have our hand full of things we can't cast, especially in the early game. And I also picked out cards that, as sort of a backup plan, we conceivably could hard cast. It's not out of the question to cast a Massacre Worm. It's not out of the question to cast a Sheldurod, especially in a mid-range deck like this one. So, yeah, those are our quote-unquote reanimation targets that we would target with Nissa. The mana base, as with the Delver deck, is an abomination. Don't look at it. Don't copy it. None of the correct cards are here except the Castle Lockvein and my beautiful Planeswalker lands, which I can actually use because these are the only 2 that I have, and they look out of place when used with other lands. So, yeah, that's the deck. I think it's a really cool concept. But we're gonna see if it works. We're gonna see if we can get any wins. This video series, if I do make it into a series or do more of them, which I think I will, I think it's fun. It's not about wins and losses, right? That may be a little bit boring to watch, admittedly, if I have like 25 losses in a row. Like, obviously you won't see that. I usually play like 3 to 4 matches. But this is more about seeing if an idea works, seeing what we can learn from it, seeing if we can improve it at all. So, yeah, on that note, before we get into the matches, be sure to comment in the comments below. Do you think this is a good idea? Besides the mana base, is there anything that you guys would improve? Is there anything you guys would do differently? I want to hear your guys' feedback. This isn't as solid or mainstream as an idea as Is It Delver was. This is sort of just like my own like brainchild here. So tell me what you think. I really want to know. Also, if you could like the video and subscribe, that'd be great. Helps the channel, makes me happy. Numbers go burr, as it were. So, yeah, with all out of the way, let's get into some matches, and let's see how this deck does. Alright. Let's see here. 2 lands. That's enough for Stitcher Supplier. That's enough for our entire hand, actually, aside from Nissa. Yeah. I mean, I do have a little bit of card selection coming from Grizzly Salvage. I think this looks like a keep. If our opponent ever decides if he wants to, mulligan or not. Ah, there we are. Okay. Hello, friend. Oof, the turn 1 Thoughtseize. Probably taking the Grizzly Salvage, more than likely. Okay. Takes the Stitcher's Supplier as we draw a Sheldered. I'm butchering that. I swear, sometimes the names in these games. Let's see. I think we just want the swamp. Thankfully, our opponent is playing a bit of a slower deck in mono black discard. There we are. And already our creeping chills are starting to pay off, as you can see. We're gaining life. We got a nice full stocked graveyard ready to go. And let's see what our opponent does. I'm going to guess it's going to have something to do with discarding. And we do have our 4th land drop. I mean, we could play Nissa next turn, but I think I'm going to go with another Mire Triton. Mind Drain. Okay. I guess the Mire Triton is going away.
I will defend the land from all interlopers.
Sure, yeah.
We will protect my home.
I'm not going to. Mind Drain. And see all the land in the graveyard. This is where I was coming from with the random up excavator. Okay, we can at least kill one of them.
Do not defile my lands.
Got a Grizzly Salvage here. Glow Spore Shaman might be nice, but I think we need the land, to be completely honest with you. I would like to scry. No, we don't need a Stitcher Supplier.
The swamps come to my aid.
Swinging with the land. Opponent plays a Pack Rat. The opponent plays 2 Pack Rats.
You must be stopped.
Silver Smoke Ghoul.
You cannot quell the royal.
I think this may be the end for us. We can't really do much when we're top decking and the opponent just is able to play whatever they want. Yeah. I think this may be game. Because I don't know how. Well, I suppose that's one way. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can right now we're just gonna do it.
Please know that I tried. Zendikar is lost.
We are going to reanimate Massacre Worm.
Defends itself.
And go from there. It really sucks he got the second pack rat token down. Oh wait, wait, hold on. Never mind. You should not have done that, friend. And now we have lethal unless he can remove the Massacre Worm. Our opponent can remove it. And he can't use any of his discard cards because I have no cards to discard. A second Waste Knot uses half of his mana. And what is our opponent going to do? What is our opponent going to do with threatening lethal here? Oh man, if we could get like a Stitcher Supplier or a Mire Triton. Is this a good game? That is good game. Alright. We pulled it out. We pulled it out thanks to Massacre Worm. Blocking our Silver Smoke Ghoul with the Pack Rat was a massive misplay. And we were very lucky there that we got that land and were able to reanimate Massacre Worm. Alright. Alright, let's see here. Oof. That's some rough land, but it's kind of what I expected from this deck, so I'm not really disappointed. Looks like we got some Azorius land. Probably Azorius control. Actually, not even probably, definitely Azorius control. I suppose let's grab our Death Bonnet Sprout and start from there. Now, if this were best of 3, this would be like... Okay. This would like 100% be a game where we'd be siding in our Thought Seizes, where we'd be siding in stuff like that. Oh, it's black. Oh. My eyes don't work, apparently. Don't mind me. We're gonna get our Excavator out so we can start playing land from the graveyard. There's the Doomscar. There's the fun card that Control loves. Doom Scar. Definitely Death Bonnet Sprout, considering we can put it in transformed. Or it will transform next turn, if we're lucky, and if it doesn't get immediately killed. Okay. One card too low. Let's see here. What do we want? I think I want the Temple of Malady. There's one of our creeping chills. I will absolutely exile it. You know what? I'll take the swamp. Our opponent has... Oh, it's an approach deck! I would like to exile one of my Stitcher suppliers, please. To continue to build the Death Bonnet Husk. Okay, then. I hate control players. Alright. Alright, let's see here. This is actually a really nice opening hand. You got a turn 1 Death Bonnet Sprout. You can turn 2 Grizzly Salvage, then ramp right into, or curve, I should say, right into Random Up Excavator. Ramamnap Excavator. I swear. Names are hard, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Names are hard. Actually, let's see. Do we want Spore, Shaman, or Grizzly Salvage? I think we should grab the Grizzly Salvage. Lots of land. Lots and lots of land. I think I'm going to grab the forest? Sure. Let's grab the forest. Put all of that. Get a creature in the graveyard for the Death Bonnet Sprout. Never mind. Stern Dismissal. It looks like we're playing against Tempo. Definitely playing against Tempo. Well, it's a bit strange that, for Tempo, they aren't, like, playing, Snowlands as we grab a Creeping Chill. And bring a Silver Smoke Ghoul back. And so this is the sort of thing that we want to be happening. This is really, really nice for us. As our opponent is focused on drawing cards. Mill another Grizzly Salvage, grab a Stitcher Supplier. Spore, Shaman. Bring that out. Let's see what we can mill with that. I would rather not. Let's grab the Stitcher Supplier. And we've got the Excavator for when we need it. Unsummon the Silver Smoke Ghoul. Oof. Only 2 creatures in the graveyard. It's just all land. At least we got it all off the top of our deck, I suppose. Teferi's Tutelage. Our opponent's helping us mill a little bit. That's appreciated. Bring out our Creeping Chill. Our second on the game. Ruin Crab, okay. Transform our Death Bonnet Sprout. And bring up our Random Up Excavator. Because we're going to be needing that if we don't draw any more land. Block the Stitchers. That's fine. Thank you for milling me another land. I appreciate it. And because our opponent's playing mono blue, he doesn't have any board wipes. We have lethal next turn anyway. I don't know why I'm like so in on like doing this. But you know, I want to do the cool thing my deck can do. That's all I want. That's all any of us really want, right? We just want to do the cool thing that our deck can do.
My home. I must take drastic action.
Sure, it literally does not matter anymore. Is Massacre Warrant? It is. You know what? Why not? Just why not? I just want to do the cool thing. As to like show off like how this works in principle as well, right?
Zendikar provides me with potent allies.
Okay, I can just play it again. That's fine. Oh! Well, it doesn't really matter now, does it? Either way, he's dead, but still, good game. Good game. And it turns out that doing all that was actually kind of important as well. Yeah, that's sort of how the deck is supposed to work. That's the reason why I included a Random Excavator. Maybe I should include a couple more, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe that would be a good idea, because it seems to work pretty well. Alright, let's see here. Nice. It's a little disappointing to see one of our Creeping Chills in hand. But everything else, I think, will make it worth it. Evolving Wilds from our opponent. Into a blue Snowland. So they're probably playing Spirits, I would imagine. Definitely playing Spirits, okay. Now we do have a Silver Smoke Ghoul in the graveyard, so if we mill a Creeping Chill, we can bring that back. Also, our Death Bonnet Sprout will transform next turn, which is exactly what we want it to do. I think next turn, we go for the Grizzly Salvage, unless, something better. Unless we draw something better, I should say. Probably gonna unsummon that. Right? Alright, yep. I think Grizzly Salvage is the order of the day. Now, are they gonna lapse it? That's the question. Lapse it or counter it in some way. Yep, there it is. Convolute. Swing for 4. Leave a blocker behind. Do I have 1 Silver Smoke Ghoul? We do. I would like... I guess Death Bonnet Sprout. And we'll put out Glow Spore Shaman, unless it gets countered, that is. It does not. Random up Excavator and Creeping Chill into the graveyard. I would like to exile Creeping Chill, bring back our Silver Smoke Ghoul. See, he's gonna block this time. The answer is yes. And he didn't pump it up either. Alright, roll low. Oh, that's what I wanted. Oh well. I guess just to scry 2 and then draw 2. Also, I really wish Wizards of the Coast would fix the bug with the scrying. That would be really nice. I will exile your Ascendant Spirit, become a 5/5. Put out another Death Bonnet Sprout, and then play a Creeping Chill. Before attacking all, and I think this may be lethal? Question mark? C-Dash Rock. Okay, not lethal, but close, and definitely a board clear. Probably. Maybe. Okay. So we clear the board, and that's game right there. Alright. GG. Alright, so that was my Golgari mid-range thing with a side dish of reanimation. It played surprisingly better than I was expecting. This actually ticked really, really nicely. If there's anything, I think it would need more Ranunap excavators. It needs more excavators. Because being able to play lands from the graveyard really, really helped, especially with Nissa of Shadowed Boughs. Nissa coming in clutch for us in that one game. Yeah, I really like this. I think this has potential, especially because one of the inspirations for this deck I had was a deck I saw on MTGA Zone that was basically Dredgeless Dredge, and it had a few of these, a lot of these cards in it. It didn't have like it didn't have some of the big stuff here. It didn't have Nisa. But it has stuff like Narcomoeba in it, which obviously is a Dredge staple in all of the other formats. And it works really well, kind of like Creeping Chill, but it's a creature that comes back if it enters the graveyard from your library. I think that could be good. I love decks like this that are like 100% focused on the graveyard and all of that. Maybe I'll try something similar to that deck at another time, but I don't have the rare wild cards for Narcomoeba, so this is what I came up with. I think it's really great. Obviously, like, the mana base needs work, because this is an abomination against nature right here. But, tell me what you guys think. What do you guys, what do you guys think? Do you think this has potential? What should I add? What should I take out? Let me know in the comments. Also, again, be sure to like and subscribe, because it really helps the channel out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.